Alrighty. Well, I didn't mention this, but about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, rules changed quite dramatically. We hit the expected vaccination percentage, and they dropped rules like you wouldn't believe around here. And all of a sudden now, you might remember last time I was talking, I had to use vaccine passport to get into basic department stores, hardware stores, auto parts store. I've been looking these same guys up on Google Maps, and they only have a mask requirement to enter the store. Don't even have to be vaccinated or show, have your bloody green tick passport set up on your phone. None of that. You can just go straight in now. And it's so surprising because all the bullshit I went through to get on my phone is almost pointless in having the bloody thing now. You have people in pubs, unvaccinated, drinking, but they're actually not in the pub as such. Most of them are in the beer garden. And I got a feeling that a lot of them are in the pub, but only the bar, not eating food type thing. And the only thing that really requires it is anything involving aged care, hospitals, and restaurants, I think. So that's about it. Restaurants are still getting screwed around with density limits and all this. They've had mask mandates come on and off the whole time this has been going on. One's back on again, but a lot of shops the entirety of the time have required you to wear a mask indoors in their shop as part of their personal rules. But a long time ago, they scrapped the outdoors wearing a mask when they said there's no point because the wind's moving around enough, and it's not a risk. They've also scrapped the deep cleaning requirement, so if someone gets COVID, they've realised that it's almost, like 95% airborne transmission. So you don't have to pay for this expensive government-accredited cleaning crew if somebody at your place gets COVID, which they had to do at the church I was at. And now they just don't even clean it at all. They just give it your run-of-the-mill vacuum or whatever and, wipe down a few things with friggin' some sort of sanitizer, and you're right, pretty much. It's no big deal. So, in essence, they have opened the floodgates, and the cases have gone through the bloody ceiling. Now, because these vaccines are kind of leaky, and this is sort of known, if you watch Joe Rogan, you would have found this out anyway, and you've probably heard about all this, when they made these vaccines, they were in a rush, they didn't have time to stuff around. A lot of these ones were based on the Alpha, which was the first variant that was around, and they're very narrow spectrum. So instead of being a sort of broad spectrum, they haven't had 10 years to work out all the different variants and then make one vaccine that covers all variants, because there's new ones that keep coming up. So what they've done, of course, is they made it for the one they do know and the one they do have, access on, and the one that was at the time the problem, which was Alpha. So a lot of these people, these breakthrough cases are happening like there's no tomorrow, because the one prevalent in Australia now is the Delta. And although I'm not sure, it seems as though, and I wouldn't be surprised, that most people are vaccinated for the Alpha, but then they get the Delta. And the thing is, it's like getting a flu shot that's 2 years behind. It's not going to protect you from this year's flu if it's really made for flu 2 years prior. It's not going to protect you from the Delta variant if you've had the vaccine for the Alpha. Having said that, many cases that, of people talk about, even a case I know personally, you catch it, but it doesn't really kick your ass that bad, because the Alpha vaccine was near enough to not stop you from catching the Delta, but take the heat out of the Delta so it's not so bad. Trouble is, as they've opened the floodgates on all this stuff, and you're wondering why you even bothered pissing around trying to set up this green tick passport thing on your phone. it's rushing through the population. Now, part of that population is truck drivers. And so our supply chains aren't affected by ports with ridiculous rules and unions and, you need to have a COVID test if, you need to have the vaccine to enter the port. None of that shit's the problem. The main trouble is actual truck drivers going from distribution centres to shops. And a lot of these guys, as many people are catching, we were shitting bricks that we were going to get to 1,000 cases a day. This is in the middle of the lockdown. Now, a couple of days ago, we were like 53,000. The numbers are just absolutely blown out the ceiling. And they sort of expected them to, but this was like the point where they did finally get their head together and open the bloody floodgates. And now we're going to have herd immunity, but we've sort of had large-scale vaccination beforehand. So you're going to get it, but because you're sort of vaccinated for Alpha, this Delta ain't going to kick your ass too hard, and your Omicron doesn't seem to kick anyone's ass too hard. So, we just got to let it run and see what happens. But the trouble is they're still trying to slow up positive cases, and you've still got to isolate if you've got a positive case. And so all these truck drivers can't drive the trucks to the shops. And now they're saying we should have rapid antigen tests to test them, and check them like every second day or every third day to get them back in the truck as quick as we can. The only trouble is they bought them over. They started selling them in shops. They were all gone within a friggin' day or two. The whole joint was sold out. Shops were, you could get them at bloody supermarkets. They only had like about 10 of the bloody things per supermarket, but they're all gone in a day or two. All the pharmacies all emptied out. The dumbest thing of all was at the government testing centres, they were handing out the rapid test kits for free, handed them all out, ran out of them all. Now they're saying, well, shit, we need those tests for truck drivers to keep trucks on the road. So this is the thing. They're sort of, they're trying to get truck drivers who get it to have caught it, isolate, but get out of it quicker. And they're saying that the close contact rules is, the trouble is that if the truck driver knows somebody, they've also got to isolate if one of their family members gets it or someone they've spent. I think the close contact rule is you've spent at least 4 hours around this person in the time they were sick or whatever. And that's a lot of what's keeping the truck drivers down, is not that they've actually caught it, but that because of close contact has caught it, and then they've got to be isolated. And they're saying, well, we shouldn't isolate the truck driver. We should give him a rapid test. And then if he's clear, let him go free. But the trouble is, the close contact rules are that way. And we've also let it run to astronomical numbers as it runs through the place due to all the, restrictions coming off and opening right up. And this is sort of a bit of the backlash of it, but they're trying to fiddle with these close contact rules as the main issue. But they've got no rapid antigen tests to be able to test these guys because they gave them all away. So there's probably going to be a very big squabble on the next lot that come in, saying that nobody can touch them, and this is specifically for transport workers that are got to have, somebody come around, test them with a test and say, right, you're good to go, you can stay truck driving. And so they've warned about shortages of food yet again. The shelves have been stripped bare yet again. And the warehouses are worried they're going to have to throw food in the dumpster. Yeah. But anyway, that's what's going on down here. And thank God somebody gave me $200 worth of gift vouchers for supermarkets for my birthday, because I got a whole freezer full of fucking chicken and fucking frozen vegetables, so it's not a problem.